In the introductory video on this channel, we explored the true source of our suffering, our plurality of egos. However, today we are going to discuss how to dissolve the egos. If we ever want to know the answers to questions like, why am I here? Where did I come from? Where am I going? And more, we urgently need to work on this dissolution of our egos. There is a practical method that requires discipline. It starts with meditation and the study of esoteric teachings, which is why we're all here after all. As we balance meditation with study, we can begin working to gain our own gnosis, our own direct experience. With the method in this video, our consciousness will slowly begin to awaken. We become more aware moment to moment. We even remember more dreams. We begin to lucid dream, and eventually we can consciously astral project. But first, before all that, we must understand the depth of our egos and the method to dissolve them. On average, each of us is born with 97% ego and only 3% free consciousness. This is due to not only this current lifetime of errors, but our many previous lifetimes of errors. Our many egos travel with us from existence to existence, like bottles floating in the ocean with trapped bits of our consciousness within them. These egos will continue to rejoin us in each lifetime until they are destroyed. If one has a powerful conscious will but does not engage in the spiritual work to dissolve the egos, the many animal wills, one can only push that energy around. Push gluttony and laziness into athletic pride and ambition. Our identity goes from the lazy glutton to the prideful athlete. In a way, this is a certain improvement, but really, we are still unconsciously causing harm to ourselves and others with our pride. We are in a veritable swamp of egos, where the monsters prowl day and night, and they hunger for our energy. So what are we to do? We must become as warriors in an internal war. We sharpen our blades in meditation. This is our ability to observe, understand, judge, and then dissolve egos. Only then can we notice our egos as the true source of our suffering. Observation. In observation, we must continually remain aware of this eternal now. The past and future are only memories, projections. All that is, ever was, or ever will be, is now. We must also self-observe, meaning our awareness needs to include both our exterior surroundings, our perceptions, and our interior state. It is because our interior state is where egos will move and arise within us as thoughts, emotions, and sometimes even actions, bridging to the exterior. The longer we can maintain our awareness and be present in the eternal now, or moment to moment, the easier this inward and outward observation becomes. Likewise, the second step becomes easier as well. Comprehension. Our comprehension of egos arising will grow with daily inner awareness meditation practice. Perhaps we are trying to lose weight, yet thoughts about food continually arise within us after we have already eaten what we needed that day. We observe the ego, and yet the animal willpower still overwhelms us, and we eat more food. The battle lines shift, yet we continue to observe, even if a battle seems lost. Why? By maintaining awareness throughout the whole experience, we gain knowledge by direct experience. We see an ego of gluttony arise. We see it possess us, and we observe how we feel after. Other egos emerge, perhaps anger and shame. Egos tend to come in groups or gangs. Even if one battle is lost, the war is long and far from over. Through observation and comprehension, we have gained new knowledge. The more we combine observation with comprehension in this way, the more we begin to live on the vertical line of life. This vertical line is the level of our being. It's the level of our consciousness. The horizontal line is simply the illusory line from birth to death. It's the illusion of time, which only exists in this low-density physical plane, as a memory, as an illusion. What lives on the horizontal line is the false self of animal ego, animal will, the very thing that causes us to suffer. Our real self is far more than our terrestrial body. We are under the illusion that we are the body. But even today, the science emerging from out-of-body experiences is beginning to prove that we are not actually our bodies. And in fact, just recently, the Nobel Prize in Physics was awarded to a group of scientists who proved that reality is non-local. Truly, we are not bodies with a soul, but souls with a body. To know our true self, we must always move up the vertical line that exists in this eternal now, starting here with our temporary terrestrial self. Once we achieve observation and comprehension of the false I or myself that is each ego we carry, it becomes easier to judge their damaging effects. In the same way we could observe and comprehend gluttony, we can see the mistaken outcomes of pride, lust, laziness, anger, greed, and envy. With enough time and practice, we even begin to sense the derivatives of these primary egos, such as fear, doubt, shame, and more. When we are at this stage, when we can judge an ego as harmful, to cause suffering, we are ready to work on elimination. If we only mentally rearrange the energy of our egos with our intellect, like someone who cleans house by shoving everything into their basement and closets, we do not liberate our consciousness, our true self. We need total dissolution of the egos. For such a supreme feat, we need a supreme cosmic power. And what is this cosmic power that can dissolve our egos? This power of cosmic elimination is none other than the Divine Mother Kundalini. Remember, as above, so below? Our physical terrestrial self has a mother, and our innermost spirit, our innermost self, has a Divine Mother. The Divine Mother is an aspect of God, the Absolute. She is God the Mother, just as there is God the Father. The Divine Mother, however, permeates the entire universe and births everything within it, including each of us. One of the forms the Egyptians represented her as, aside from Isis, was the goddess Nut, mother of the galaxy. In Greece, she is Athena, and in Christianity, she is Mary. In a more physics-based example, consider that space itself is a void, a womb for every galaxy, star, planet, and aspect of matter. In fact, the English word mother in Latin is mater. Esoterically speaking, cosmic feminine energy is receptive, while cosmic masculine energy is projective. The balancing of these two is a neutralizing energy, and we all have these energies within us. To briefly illustrate, using contemporary electromagnetism, we have projective, receptive, and neutralizing energy, described as positive, negative, and neutral charge. This also relates to yang and yin energy, where yang is positive, or projective, and yin is negative, or receptive. And again, the third force is neutralizing, the creation of balance, seen as the white dot within the black and the black dot within the white. If we add lines to these dots, we even see the ever so common equal sign, itself a symbol of balance. This is the neutralizing, balancing force. So when we consciously work with our Divine Mother to balance our cosmic masculine and feminine or projective and receptive energies within, that neutralizing balance we create allows us a new revolutionary energy that helps awaken our consciousness. However, first, we must cultivate full awareness to observe. Through that effort, we begin to comprehend and then judge an ego. Only through that method can our Divine Mother eliminate it. The mother will not harm our consciousness, her child. Once we consciously work with our Divine Mother to see our consciousness is trapped within an ego, she will heed a request from us to eliminate that ego. So here's the method. When we observe an ego arising in one of our three minds, in that moment, we must mentally ask our Divine Mother to eliminate it. using our voice within, our mental voice, we say, "Please, my Divine Mother, eliminate this ego," or "Divine Mother, please dissolve this ego." If you are transmuting sexual energy, a topic I will briefly discuss after this chapter, you could even mentally say, "Please, my Divine Mother, burn this ego with divine fire." You can use your own words, but simple is best. Meditation is especially important at this step. We must be fully aware and consciously alert in the practice for our Divine Mother to truly hear such a request. We must do this each time the ego arises. We can name the ego if we comprehend its nature, but what's most important is the intuitive understanding of our heart-mind, comprehension. With this practice, that ego will either steadily dissolve over days and months, or be dissolved completely. Depends on the ego and how much energy we have to work with. We can confirm this later by experience. Inevitably, another moment in the daily life will come that usually causes such an ego to burst into action, but instead of that ego appearing, we will notice either a much lesser form of it or nothing at all, just inner peace. Our suffering will have gone. If we observe a lesser form of an ego, we hit it again. In time, our suffering diminishes. Eventually, it stops altogether. As we do this practice, with time, we become more conscious in daily life and in dreams while our physical body sleeps. We will even see our egos symbolically in our dreams, and they will slowly have less ability to interfere with us in that dreaming state, which itself will diminish. As above, so below, awaken in the physical and you awaken in dreams in the astral. And of course, the practice of astral projection becomes more possible with this as well, but more on that in another video. I briefly touched on transmuting sexual energy, which is the long-held secret of many mystery schools. It is the original fountain of youth, or the cup of Hermes. This practice, however, is not required for this method of ego dissolution to work. Up to 50% of ego can be dissolved without transmuting sexual energy, albeit with the requirement of deep meditation practice. However, for total elimination of egos over time, the practice of sexual transmutation is essential. Still, it is up to each person to decide if they wish to practice sexual transmutation as a single or in a couple. Sexual energy is much like a nuclear power. It can be fused like how the sun fuses matter to create steady cosmic energy. Or sexual atoms of creation can be fractured atomically to create something like an atom bomb. This short-circuiting of cosmic energy is powerful, and thus, for many of us, the power of orgasm is an intense addiction. For a wonderfully in-depth video on the science and esotericism of transmuting sexual energy, I highly recommend this detailed explanation on Astral Doorway. I'll also put a link in the description for anybody interested. Don't just believe what I'm saying about all of this either, especially sexual transmutation. Remember, we're talking about gnosis, direct experience. So try this practical experiment. Watch or listen to the video from Astral Doorway if more initial evidence is required. He also provides many further resources on the subject. Then retain sexual energy for a minimum of 2 weeks up to 4. While running this experiment, transmute sexual energy with a guided Hamsa pranayama meditation at least once per day. I'll put a link in the description below to a couple great guided Hamsa meditation videos as well. So you combine this with the death in motion practice outlined above. As you observe, comprehend, and judge an ego when it arises, request from your Divine Mother to help dissolve or eliminate that ego. And you can imagine the Divine Mother in any manifestation from any religion. If you have a busy life, keep a diary and write a sentence or two each day of any changes you might notice. Review it at the end of this experiment. At 2 weeks, there is likely to be some change, but the longer one practices, the greater the change over time. Nuclear fission, how atomic explosions occur, have a big instant payoff and expend vast amounts of energy. Nuclear fusion, on the other hand, which is what the sun and stars do, starts slowly initially, but eventually builds up to a cosmic bliss that creates new life. Be patient with this experiment and practice, and you will see results. Remember, it goes meditation each day, that is very important to build, then observe, comprehend, judge, and eliminate from help with our Divine Mother. We each have our own particular Divine Mother within. Now, we delved into some more esoteric topics here, but this is an area I have direct experience with, and I am confident that it will work, especially for anyone suffering with a lot of depression. It's a very powerful practice. Please provide any suggestions for future topics and ask questions in the comments. That's always welcome. If you'd like to converse personally in the Discord group, please consider supporting the Spiritual Warrior Experience on Patreon. I plan to hold a monthly Q&A in the group, and we'll be sharing the current video project I'm working on for any input or questions. These videos will always be free to everyone. However, I will give Patreons earlier access to the uploads before I place all the resources and links mentioned in each video. In addition, I would like to say thank you to the channel's newest Patreons, Church, Atticus, Jean. Thank you very much. And thank you for everyone who's listening and leaving comments. I enjoy making these quite a bit, and I'm looking forward to the next now we all spend together. Until then.